This is the Pet Buzz.
This is the Pet Buzz.
And here's the Dynamic Pet Duo.
Emily Larlham of Dogmantics Dog Training in California is going to talk to us about training her dogs to become Guinness Book of World Record holders.
That's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
Emily, welcome to the Pet Buzz today.
Hi, guys. I'm really honored to be here.
Okay,
We're
good.
excited to have you.
Good. We're going to make you excited with the first question here. What prompted you to go for a Guinness Book of World Records with your dog? And tell us what you did to get the coveted title.
Okay. Well, actually, we got 2 titles. And the reason that I wanted to do it was because I know these 2 dogs here are pretty amazing. And also, Wish here is a little bit socially anxious. And the wonderful thing about the Guinness records is you can set the time that you can that you do the record, so there's no stress of like a big competition with crowds. So that was perfect for her to show off her amazing abilities. And Wish is super fast at doing tricks. So she did the 5-meter crawl, the fastest 5-meter crawl for a dog. And Halo here, Tug is in the way. Halo and Wish, they competed and did the most tricks done by 2 dogs in synchronization in 1 minute.
Okay,
And,
we got to see a trick, Emily. I'm like, I got to see
Yeah.
something. Show us a trick.
okay. Well, I'll show you one with my youngest little Chihuahua that I got here because she's really busy at the moment. So you will keep her occupied. So I'm teaching her to, Wishy, lie down. I'm teaching her to wave both paws like this.
Okay.
Good.
Awesome.
You're
Well,
not-
our listening audience on the radio can't hear, but Emily's teaching her dog to do a wave. And actually, this trick is on her Facebook page, which I saw this morning. That's pretty cool. But tell us what kind of tricks, what kind of tricks did your dogs do? For the 2-minute record, what were they doing?
Okay, so, Halo's only just going to be turning 2, so he didn't know as many tricks as Wish knew. Mm-hmm. So it was basically all the 28 tricks that could apply to the rules that he could do. But Wish can do so many more tricks. So it was basically all the tricks that he could possibly do, such as waving the left paw, the right paw, sitting pretty, doing say your prayers, weaving the legs, jumping over my arms, and anything you can imagine that is a short and fast trick.
Wow. 2 dogs, 2 minutes, and 28 tricks.
Yeah, our dogs, they can't do anything.
They can sit and they can stay.
Yeah, right.
And they speak French. Well, forget you. You didn't train and teach them anything. Okay?
To eat.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's his idea of giving treats is throwing Cheetos on the floor. Oh, sorry, Cheez-Its. Okay, so tell us about how you train your dogs. To achieve such fame, or just for fun.
Okay, well, that's my favorite question because the way that I like to train is a way that doesn't involve any forms of intimidation. So if the dogs don't want to do the trick, then they just don't do it. And usually that's information that something's wrong. So either the dog doesn't have an understanding, they're tired, they're physically tired, or they're in pain, or they're just stressed. So we listen to each other. And the wonderful thing is that by training this way, you'll see if you watch some of their footage that they have this positive emotion while doing the tricks. And it's a really great way to bond with your dog. I find it really magical and wonderful. And the wonderful thing about training others to use this type of training is that it's not as emotional. You don't get your feelings hurt when the dog does something wrong, and you can take a step back and learn to be compassionate and understanding of the other. And I find that it is an amazing skill for them being able to communicate with other human beings. So it's really changed my life learning about this way of training.
Yeah. That's really beneficial for us as human beings, like you say. What about the beneficial effect for the canine?
For trick training.
Well, in all types of training, yeah. The benefits for using positive reinforcement is that there's less stress and frustration if you're setting the training in small achievable steps. So you could frustrate a dog using positive reinforcement by asking too much, but by using rewards and setting the criteria so that it's easily achievable, as you would with a child that's learning to read. You wouldn't ask them to read, a full book. You would start with a couple of words. You set them up for success and build confidence in them. And the reason that tricks are so wonderful to train dogs is they really help build your communication with your dog without that pressure of feeling like your dog did something wrong. If you're one of those people that wish for their dog to look amazing in public, if they just can't sit pretty for some reason, oh well, no big deal. Rather than, oh, my dog must walk perfectly next to me when my neighbor looks. And also the tricks are so great for their physical condition. So if you had a dog that was old or sick, you might want to check with a physical therapist what tricks are beneficial for them. And you might actually have a long list of tricks that the physical therapist will give you that will increase your dog's well-being. So that's another reason I do the tricks.
Psychologically and somatic. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching Emily this week, looking at some of her YouTube and Facebook material. She's a great dog trainer. I mean, really patient. I mean, obviously those are her dogs, but just the way, that's a great thing about Zoom, being able to have guests on. We could see the interaction every time she speaks. The dogs are looking, even that little dog behind her on the couch, who's just like chilling, just waiting, they're all like waiting for commands. And that little Chihuahua is really cute. So it's nice to see that she works with big dogs and small dogs. Because I have to tell you, so many trainers have golden retrievers, and those are easy dogs to work with. But with those border collies, she needs to wear those dogs out. They need to they need to stay busy. And Australian Shepherds, I'm sorry, they need to stay busy, right, Emily?
I agree, but also when I see clients, they get a golden retriever or some sort of dog that they think is going to be calm, but then they get the one that's, has the personality and genetics to be like a border collie, and then they're overwhelmed.
Sure.
So,
That's why they hire you.
That's why they hire you.
And then I have the border collie on the couch. She's very, but since she was young, she's been the chill, mellow border collie.
Oh, cool.
So there's always exceptions to the rule in breeds.
Well, we love looking at dogs do tricks. And so just what kind of advice do you have for our listening audience who might want to get into trick training for dogs? I mean, it's a great time. People still have plenty of time on their hands. And a lot of people, as we know, got dogs during COVID.
Well, I do have a lot of videos on YouTube. If you Googled Kiko Pup tricks, you might find an extensive list of how to specifically train, the different steps. But the best advice I can give you is training a marker to tell the dog they did something. My little puppy's scratching. I don't know if you can hear it. Training a marker to tell the dog they did it right. So a simple word like yes or good, that's then followed by a treat, or you could use a clicker. I personally like to use the clicker for training different behaviors. So the dog is knowing exactly what they did right, especially for very small movements, such as like a paw movement. Pop-ups. So like if you wanted to, I don't know, wish you would see her. If you wanted to teach your dog to wave, just holding a treat in your hand, and as they go to lift their paw up to get the treat out of your hand, you can mark that exact moment and then feed the treat. Sure. So she's knowing that she did the correct behavior by the click, and it's great for capturing behaviors too. So if she looks up at my eyes, I can click and reinforce. You don't need to have a clicker. You could have a word like yes or good. And
I use yes with a long S. So with our youngest dog, Hammy, if he sits or he comes, I say yes, and then he gets his treat. So he waits for that, not yes, but the yes. So it is highly effective. And a lot of people I know use clicker training. I just stopped training dogs and just never use clicker, but I know a lot of people who do. And it's highly effective.
just quickly, some dogs can get very excited by the clicker. So using a calm marker like good for calm behaviors like this, just relaxing behavior. Because if I were to click him and then give him the treat or say, yes, good job, settling, that could, end with the dogs being excited all the time. So
that's why she's the trainer.
Well, she is the trainer.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also dependent upon the dog as well. I mean, Hammy's kind of like chill.
Yeah, well, we got to have patience to deal with each one individually.
Well,
Wow.
exactly, because each dog has their own distinct
Emily, that was
personality.
so much fun.
It was.
And we can learn more about you and your dogs by going to dogmantics.com.
Yeah, or YouTube, Kiko Pup, the channel on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only Emily, and her dogs. It's her dog training methodology, which I think is key. And you see that when she works with her dogs. And I think it's a good, it's a good way to see what a professional is doing, how calm she is, how gentle she is with her dogs, and the results that she gets. So dog training methodology is great. And she said the key, positive reinforcement. I think that's always a great thing.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Pet Buzz.